Hey guys and girls, BJonGameDay back for another week. Welcome to round 13, the first of the bye weeks, guys and girls, and definitely a few people sort of wondering what's going on with, how many players you got to have, all that kind of stuff. But before we get to that, I'm joined once again, as always, by Brent Hampton. Hampton, mate, no camera this week?
No, mate, a few technical difficulties this week, so apologies for all those that have tuned in to see my beautiful face, but you'll just have to put up with the king this week.
I tell you what, mate, fucking Bogan, he must have been sleeping again today. The scores are wrong on the screen.
Hello?
But anyway, that's all right. We'll let you get away with one, Bogan.
What's he got? Yeah, on king.
I'll tell you what, though, Brent, I reckon you'd be happy with 1,087. Did you score that?
No, I didn't even get that, mate. 1043 in what was, it looked like sort of 1,100 plus was sort of par, if not, 1150s. Wow.
That fucking light's fuck. What the fuck's happened in the last 2 weeks since we've... I gotta get out of this fucking room. I need a studio. What's this?
Hi everyone. I did have you this week's scores up, but it's reverted back, and I'm concerned that everything has reverted back. So fun and games. So just let me quickly delete these.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, at least technical difficulties, you still get to listen to us for a little while. Mate, 1266 for me last week. Really, really happy. Disappointed a bit again with the captain choice. But, mate, when you're sort of scoring well, the thing I'm disappointed is that's sort of what's been stopping me go up even higher up the ladder is just some real bad captain choices. Mate, last week I thought Cleary, I thought, the Panthers would do exactly what they did to the Cowboys and sort of beat them convincingly. But Cleary he was more about running the ball last week than actually creating. So it's a little bit different from him. But, yeah, anyhow.
And where you jumped up to in the ranks, bud?
Mate, I'm 191st. So
back at 190.
Yeah, back at 190. I think 3 weeks ago I was 190. Now I'm 191. Dropped out to sort of 300, 380 odd there for a couple of weeks. So, yeah, back inside the top 200, which is good. Mate, looking forward to this round. I think I'm going to field 13 players, mate. That's using 2 out of the 3 trades this week. I've really sort of looked at my team, and other than sort of getting rid of a gun, I can't really find any justification to waste another trade for, just a mediocre player. So, yeah, mate, 13 on the park for me this week. Bringing in Garrick and Crichton. Obviously, Crichton very, very popular. Sorry, not Garrick. Crichton and Manu. I've already got Garrick. Crichton and Manu, very sort of popular buys for this week, I think, for the Roosters, mate. What about yourself, mate? How many are you going to have, Hampton?
Yeah, I must admit the old team list has thrown a few curveballs this week with a couple blokes I've been fucking sitting on, especially for this round, and they're nowhere to be seen. So, yeah, I'm obviously looking at Gus as well and Joey Manu. Yeah, having a little bit of a look at Scotty Drinkwater as well, King. He's another one. I got a bit of cash to burn there, but yeah, like you said, you just don't want to burn too many trades unnecessarily just for this week. When if you got 12 or 13, you're probably looking all right. I think at this point I got 10 or 11, King.
Yep.
So ideally at least probably burn another couple to just field an extra couple, but those extra 2 would be a couple premium guys, like you said, Gus and Manu or Drinky or a combination of the 2. So,
mate,
yeah.
That's why I think the key is, like, anyone you sort of bring in at this time of the season, you want them to obviously contribute for 13, but realistically you want them to be there for the run home as well. Obviously, speaking to a few guys, whether you target 13, whether you target 17, whether you try to use a few trades along the way and target both, mate, it's a bit of a sort of gamble. It's a bit of a sort of, a balancing act which way you go. So at the moment, I'm sort of 13 for this round. I think I'll be one of those people with 10 or 11 come 17. But But what I'm trying not to do is dismantle my core and that spine that sort of served me so well throughout the start of the season. So really sort of looking to play around with centre wings and second row and front row. And, staying away from the spine. But, yeah.
Yeah, mate. No, it sounds good. And obviously Origin team's announced, mate. Obviously with the bye round, Origin coming up after that. So it should be good. A couple of interesting selections. Bud, what are your thoughts on the two lists before we jump into week that was? And
yeah, mate, look, no real massive surprises. I think we sort of spoke about it before. I think the biggest surprise until we'd learned about the injury was the omission of David Fafita in the Queensland side. But he's obviously aggravated that MCL injury again, which has sort of seen him have 2 to 3 weeks out. Jeremiah Nanai making the team, massive news for him. So very well done to him. I think Ruben Cotter is obviously a lot of people expected. Mate, for the Blues, probably the biggest surprise, but knowing he'll still do a good job, I didn't think they'd go White in the centres. I know there's probably been no one really stand up and say that's my spot for New South Wales. So, with the likes of your Staggs and Whiten and Crichton and Campbell Graham missing out altogether, I just thought it probably would have been. I probably would have had Staggs and Campbell Graham there. I don't think Crichton's done enough for me. I think there's a lot of potential there, but it just hasn't really proven himself enough. I don't know. I just like the other guys better. But, mate, Jackie's been there. Jackie's a big game player. Clive Churchill medalist, Dally M winner. Mate, what more can you say? So, you're going to put a guy in there who gives 100% every game. A little bit of a defensive liability, maybe. But I look across that park at the New South Wales team, and I really think defensively it's a really, really strong team. I think Queensland really will struggle to put points on. And I think the Blues will get the series done, mate. But, we'll see what happens. What about yourself, mate?
Yeah, no, I thought a few interesting selections there. Again, a couple of the centres there, as you said. I don't know if part of the thinking with Freddie is that I think all the guys they were talking about to play centre, Campbell Graham, Critter, Lomax, Staggs, they're all generally playing mostly on the right now. I know Campbell Graham and Critter have played a bit on the left, and Whiten generally plays on the left at 5'8" anyway, so he's only sliding one out. Whether that was part of the thought process, I don't know, but I also find it a bit funny with Critter off the bench, so I'm wondering if we might see a smoky and there's a late switch with Whiten to the bench or something before kickoff. But as you said, we don't generally see the teams this early either. So, but no, I mean, a few interesting selections, but I think the Queensland team's been pretty much picked on form, and it's shaping up to be a good series with Turbo and Latrell missing. I think there's a couple obviously massive outs for New South Wales and the form of that Queensland spine, Harry Grant, Munster in particular. It's shaping up to be a cracking series, so looking forward to it.
And, mate, I think you're sort of spot on there. I think that combination, especially with the likes of Turbo and Latrell gone, that combination with the 6, 7, and 13 for New South Wales being the Penrith spine will be vital.
For sure.
Just the combinations that they've got. And I guess that probably added more weight for Crichton to be sort of picked maybe on there. But, I just think as long as they've got those three in the middle running the show, the rest of them will adapt. And, they've done it before. They've played a few series together and that now, so I think it'll be good. Yeah,
looking forward to this one.
But, mate, moving on to that, we'll get into the game shortly. Last week I did have a little bet with Blade Buckman. Unfortunately, my Sharkies went down to the Roosters, which didn't really absolutely surprise me, to be fair. But the bet was a chili and a shot. So we've got this. It's only a little chili. This is called a Mambo chili. They're ornamental, but they're apparently hot as fuck. So the missus just got a chili plant out the front not that long ago, and they've actually grown quite well. So that's the old chili. And then something I really, really don't like, but I thought I'll buy this one rather than the turkeys because obviously I drink them all the time anyway. But I'm not a tequila fan, but the missus is. So I'll have this one shot and then she'll polish off the rest of the ball over the next week. So, boys, which order do we go in? Do we go the chili first or do we go the shot first? Or do we use the shot to wash down the chili?
Got to do it like a slammer, don't you? So lick the salt, do the shot, and then bite the chili.
No, we're not doing that shit. Fuck. Fucking put the chili in my eyes or something. Fuck.
Go chili with a tequila chaser.
Chili with a tequila chaser. All right. Well, we'll get it over and done with just so we can laugh at me fucking going on and on. The fucking fresh bottle, boys. Fucking what's a shot?
A couple of glugs.
It's between mates, not much.
Fucking hell.
Well, your fucking screen was fucking out, but that's all good.
Oh, just the smell of it. You open that fucking bottle. Who the fuck drinks tequila? You fucking idiots.
Mexicans.
Right. Yeah, we're going Mexican. We're going chilies and tequila.
Fuck, you got that chili from Coles, surely. That's a chili from Coles.
Mate, I'll bring the fucking plan in and chuck it on the screen, mate. Fuck, it's not.
All right.
Mambo chili, 40,000 Scoville. So, yeah, she's got a bit of a kick. All right.
Hey.
You're doing that shot before the chili kicks in.
Oh, fuck.
He's already in. Oh, yummy. Yeah, the king. Oh, yummy. Ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourself for some enthralling viewing.
Fucking hell. Is it burning? Oh, fuck, I don't know which is worse, the tequila or the chili.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting some great facial expressions for future thumbnails.
Oh yes. Yes, King. Well done, mate.
Oh yeah, the chili's got. Oh yeah.
Be nice and warm for the show, mate. You'll be loving it down here. It's probably about 6 degrees and raining down here at the moment, King.
Fucking freezing all day.
It's freezing.
Give me a sec.
Right.
I just spoke to Mum on the phone before her birthday today. Happy birthday, Mum. Yeah, she was saying it's freezing down there in Kent. Oh, we're not too bad. They're not too bad. Those chilies not too bad. Yeah. Oh.
Not bad.
You don't have the milk there, do you, King?
No milk. No milk. We're good. We're good. All right, the chip was definitely hotter. What was those chili chips that we did, mate? That was still all right. That's got a good kick to it, mate. That's not bad. Anyway, move on. What games we got from last week, mate?
Melbourne Manly started the round. Big bounce back from Melbourne, obviously, after the big back-to-back losses. And tops by no other than Cameron Munster, about 112. He scored a double, set one up. He was in everything. He looked unbelievable. As a non-owner, it was, a terrible way to start the round. Cameron Munster comes out, I think, scores the first try of the game, and was having a blinder, and he just looks awesome, doesn't he? So, despite scoring 112, did drop nearly 50,000, which makes him a little bit more affordable, King, for non-owners. So we're looking at him as soon as possible. But he was a standout in that game, to be honest. But I don't know if you saw that one.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I watched this game. Really good game from the Storm. Obviously, I thought the Seagulls might put up a little bit more of a fight in this one, even without Turbo. But Storm were pretty much in control. I thought the bench might have been the difference for the Seagulls, but very inexperienced bench from the Storm. But they just got on there and did their job, and the spine sort of took care of everything else. Made Munster bounce back after a couple of lean weeks. But I will say, I know in Magic Round, he obviously had that sort of shocker, and Penrith touched up the Storm. And my thought process was obviously based on that interview. He really wanted to sort of hit back when they went up to North Queensland. Apparently, he played that game against North Queensland with the flu, and he was fucking buggered. So, unfortunately, that's the kind of stuff that didn't get out until after the match. And if I had known that last week, I probably wouldn't have chucked the captaincy on him. And this week he bounces back with 112. So, mate, I've gone for a bit of a run where I've had blokes as captain like Munster and Teddy and Cleary, and I keep putting them on the wrong weeks, mate. I'm sort of taking them off, and then those guys go big, and it's frustrating, mate. You know, Teddy, I'm massive this week, and
it's probably the only thing I've done better than you this season. I think if you had all my captains this season, you'd be fine. Mate. You'd be fine.
Honestly, I think if I probably give me 2 or 3 better captains, and I reckon I'm sort of 150, 200 points better off, and I'm up there sort of in that top 50, ready to sort of really make a charge. So, you know, you can't expect to pick the best captains every week, but I reckon I've probably only got 1 or 2 right out of 12 rounds so far this season. So, a bit of a struggle.
Makes a difference. Absolutely. It's probably one of the biggest things that sort of separates you at the end of the year. Look, also, obviously, with Hughes back, it allowed Munster to shine, but no Pap, no Harry Grant as well. King, Harry Grant, a late omission, which is a curveball that got thrown at people this week. But, apart from that, Ola was the top scorer for the Eagles in pretty much all base. I think he had a line break in there for 70, so he dropped a little bit of money and a pretty good target for this week as well if you're looking to pick someone up.
Yeah, and Garrick, mate, he was solid, obviously, at fullback there.
Yeah.
So we can probably see that continue. Missed a couple of goals, so that could have got a little bit better. A little bit of a 10-point differential there. So, mate, obviously a lot of players from both these teams will feature in people's sides. Anyone who's obviously looking at buying in players, if you don't have the likes of Garrick and Olakatu and things like that, maybe they're targets for this week because they're probably both holds till the end of the season. In the chat, we've got Dave O'Dam, new listener, new viewer. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the show, mate.
Welcome,
Get
mate.
him a wrench, Bogan.
Yeah,
see what he
already
does with it.
Given him a wrench. Also, Cassidy in the chat said finish the bottle or unsubbing. And
mate, if we finish that fucking bottle, we won't finish the fucking show. I can tell you right.
Cassidy,
mate, 6 shots of vodka. Look up the footage for the last couple of
I was going to say
mate.
Cassidy obviously hasn't been subbed for very long because they missed the famous 6-shot episode where Josh King lasted about 15 minutes before it got really messy.
Cassidy, 6 shots of vodka. I can tell you right now, about 4 minutes after the show finished, I was on my front lawn spewing my fucking guts up. So in between that and the 6 shots, I was arguing with the missus to go down and get me another 10-pack of wild turkey. But, we do a little bit different here at BJonGameDay, but welcome.
In your undies as well. It was a cracker.
Yeah, it was good.
Go back and check it out. Next game, the round, Bud Penny getting up over the Cowboys and just the best in the business at turning the screws.
Putting those Cowboys back in their place.
Yeah,
look, I think they were playing. They defended pretty well considering, and they found themselves 16-0 at halftime. It was a bit of an arm wrestle, but again, as I said, I think there's no team at the moment better at it than turning the screws than the Panthers, and they just do what they do best once again, mate.
Mate, 100%. And look, I think, like you say, 16-0 at halftime. Panthers had every chance to run away with it, and the Cowboys hung in there. So, full credit to the Cows. They didn't get any points on the board, but I don't think they would have lost too many admirers. With what Panthers have done to a lot of sides in the second half this season, you look how they dismantled Melbourne, and they've done it to a few others. So,
any other side out there probably would have been 40 plus put on them.
Yeah, correct. So, the Cows, mate, on the right track, and obviously we've all seen the social media footage of the Cows boys getting their congratulations from their coach, Toddy Payton, at their team dinner. That was great to see. Really good for those boys. So, well done to the likes of Nanai and Cotter. Those blokes have been really, really good for Supercoaches this season. Mate, for the Panthers, up there again, Dylan Edwards, mate. Dylan Edwards, what is he a smoky for people to bring in this week? If you've sort of lost Turbo, lost Paps, and you got that sort of single position, maybe you want to fill at fullback?
Yeah, I mean, he's always busy. He's base. He's probably got a very good base, I'd imagine, without looking into him in detail. I mean, he hasn't been too bad. He's got a few 30s in last month. He's also got a couple of 80s. And, obviously, I think this is his best score of the season, the 100. Look, like you said, he's got a pretty decent floor on him. You're probably safe. You're going to probably get at least 30 or 40 out of him, even on a bad week, which isn't too bad. But, you could do worse for 550 odd K, King, for sure.
We're going full screen, mate. I'd say, come on, we need sponsorship, boys. Come on, get it to us. Someone reach it.
4% ownership as well, so massive pot if you're
that
way inclined.
4.8% they are, mate. But sorry. Right.
Good segue.
I'm catching up. But yeah, so a couple of top teams there. Nathan Cleary, a little bit quiet with 58, as we say. Attacked the line a little bit more than created. Brian Toho scored his first try of the season. So, unfortunately, well, I mean, I don't think he's got too much ownership with the injuries early in the season. We knew he'd play Origin, so he might be one to look at after the Origin period once he starts to hit form and bottoms out in price. Next game, folks. Benny, I don't buy rare because I actually like the taste of the fucking originals better, mate.
Oh, what about this game?
How was it? I didn't see this game, honestly.
Yeah, it was a funny old game of footy. I think it was 24-4 at half time to the Titans or something like that.
Mate, I was on the drink and I was on the bags on Wednesday on a day off. And Thursday I got through, but Friday I needed to get to bed early. I think I was in bed by about 7:30, so I didn't catch this game.
Yeah, no, it was. I was in a mate's place. I sort of had it on in the background, just didn't follow it religiously. But yeah, it was a crazy game. This Brisbane side is just playing some good footy at times at the moment. Not too really sure what to think of them. They've had a few interesting halves of footy throughout the season, but in general, they've been pretty good for the last 6 or 8 weeks or so.
Mate, I'm a bit of a fanboy of Herbie Farnworth, mate. I got a little bit of a man crush there. And I'll tell you what, if I was a Redcliffe Dolphins, I'm doing everything I can do to sign this Englishman. He's a weapon.
He's very busy, isn't he? He gets through his work. He pops up all over the park. It's sort of taken him a couple of years to come on, I think, and I think plenty of abilities. At one point, I think he was was he signed with Man United or something? Had a scholarship with them or something?
I think he came on an interview. He said that he was about fucking 7 years old or something. But anyway, so
still, I mean, he's decided to play footy.
Yeah, and they've just given him a contract extension week 4 last as well.
So as much as everyone talks about...
Bennett will get in his ear. Bennett will tell him he can be the captain of the English side for the next fucking 8 years or something. But yeah.
I mean, all the discussion that happens around Stags and Cobbo, on that side of the park, this bloke doesn't get enough raps at all. I totally agree. He's a gun.
Yeah. From a Supercoach point of view, mate, Paddy Carrigan solid again for his ownership started to get up there over the last few weeks. Cobbo, Payne Haas, solid games. Cobbo scored a try in that 65. A little bit quiet, as much as it was, I think, in the second half. I don't know. I thought he put on a few points in the first half. But
I thought Ezra looked unreal too, mate. It'd be nice to see him cement a starting spot, even though it's not going to happen. But he's a little live wire and one for the future. Do you know
what I'm only concerned about with him? That and look, I don't think it's too much of a concern Supercoach-wise because we're at the time of the season where do you really risk bringing him in? Like I say,
yeah, no.
A lot of whether you go on Ilias to him to create some cash and sort of get a cash injection, but I'm wondering whether Ezra's just that first couple of games when you first go into first grade and you're just that hyped, that you just like you look at Carraz, right? Like for the Bulldogs and his first couple of games were just sensational. And he really quietened it off over the weekend there against the Dragons. So I don't know. I don't know whether Ezra can keep this kind of pace.
I reckon he looks something different about him. I reckon he looks the goods. Look, some solid scores from Brisbane though, mate. David Fafita as well also managed to get out there for the Titans. He was a late inclusion, scored a pie and scored 70. And obviously an interesting look now. Obviously with Origin, he's missed potentially due to injury. Not sure he's injured, whether he's missed now to injury or been dropped on form. But he's at 634k now, 119 break even, and who knows what happens over the next 4 to 6 weeks with him. So eyes on him again because he's pretty affordable now at that 600k price tag. But be nice to see him hit a bit of form and cement a starting spot before I'll be worrying too much about any of that, I think.
Yeah, fair enough. Next game, Bugs.
Hey,
there's years. I didn't watch this one, mate. I was working, but talk us through this one, pal.
Oh, look, I'll tell you what. If if ever something tells a story, Anari Tawala top scoring with 95 in this game probably speaks for itself. of all the players in this game that could have scored well. I think we were lucky at times in this one, King, I'll be honest, but it was nice to see the boys get the job done. As I said, Anari Twala top score with the 95. Kalen Ponga contributed there with a 72. A few good contributions from some of our sort of, I think, lads on some good money there, Frizzell and Clemmer as well. Yep. Clem looking like a really good option post this week as well. Kingy, I know we've talked about him before, but at 600k, he's pretty much pumping out 65 every week, if not 70. So I like him as a front row plug for the run home, even though he's 600k.
Yeah, mate. I know it's only 600k. It just feels like, when you miss a player, like he was sort of that 460, 470 mark, and we knew the player was there, mate. He'd just been gone for a couple of years, but he's definitely hit back. He's in as good a form as ever, really, and I think form that saw him pick for the Origin side. So, for super coaches, if you're looking to shore up that sort of front row position, he's definitely an option next week.
Yeah, see out him. This fucking Valea scored he scored 55, managed to get himself some cash roll and a nice big negative 20 break even, and beautifully coming into the round 13 bye, and he hasn't been named. He's nowhere to be seen.
Fucking little
that's a nice little trap there. I don't know what I'll be doing with that little bastard. I was pretty happy for him to make some cash and get off him pretty soon, but that's a curvy. Yep. And look, top score for the Warriors was Aiken, mate, with 66 without doing a great deal. Tohu didn't look as great either, King. I was sort of pretty keen to get him in, but I'm not sure if I'll wait a little longer, see if he can get some time in the legs. He's been named on the edge this week, whether he ends up switching back to lock, and no sign of Curran as well this week. So I was really keen on Tohu, but I might just look at getting Aiken back in instead this week.
Yeah, I think it was good that we got to see him play a couple of games, mate, because I don't think there's anywhere near the same desperation that there would be in previous seasons. He's always been a low ownership player, just being with the Warriors, but he probably hasn't played as well as he has in seasons past. I mean, coming back from an ACL, mate, it's tough. We see a lot of players take some 6 or 8 weeks to get going. So maybe after a round 17 bye or something like that, maybe the last sort of 6-7 games, he's the pod that people get in late, and hope that he sort of returns to form. But anyhow, mate.
Next one. Funny old game of footy, this one as well.
Oh, mate, look. As someone who tipped the fucking Tigers up 12-0, I thought, this is about what I thought.
Genius. What a genius.
Hey, I thought I'd pulled one out of the fire there, but wow, what a second half, mate. 18-12 at halftime, I think it was, or something like that. And mate, the Bunnies just blew them away. Campbell Graham, Alex Johnson. Campbell Graham, did he get down-dated?
What did he finish on? No, I think
30 odd.
No. I think you might be right. He might have been up there somewhere. Yeah, I think he was.
But made 3 tons there from the South players. Cody, mate, honestly, 20 minutes to go. I'm in the podcasters chat with all the other lads. I'm absolutely giving it to the cunt, mate. I'm fucking destroying Cody. And as I write the fucking first message, which is like this fucking long, one of the boys just types back, he just scored a try, because I wasn't watching the game. I was just watching the updates. I'm like, this fucking useless vlog. And then all of a sudden, mate, scores a try, bang, scores another one 5 minutes later, and he tons up. So, Cody, I don't apologise, mate. You've been an absolute fucking slug all year long.
Yeah.
You've got to do something better than that this week as well.
What a dilemma owning him has been. It's definitely, he's not the top 2 5/8s, that's for sure. With Dylan Brown and Munster, it's so hard owning Walker, fucking hell.
Yeah, but mate, it's hard to switch from him, but like,
well, you can't now. For 17, if you've got him for 17, do you go to Brown? Because you're probably not going to trade Munster to Brown. I couldn't imagine there'd be too many people doing that.
I think I just miss Brown. I just got to miss Brown. I've got to hope for the season ankle injury that he seems to have every year or something.
Well, just have a look at those draws, buddy. He's got the better run home. Maybe that might sway your decision or something. But
who's that?
The run home, just for each of them.
Yeah, I haven't looked.
Anyway, it was good to see Cody Walker turn up, and he got a nice update. I think he was only about 80 at the end of this one. Cookie was solid. Murray ended up playing as well. I traded Taff. Thankfully, it was a late switch in a career, and I came on at fullback. So, as much as bringing in Cleary didn't work out too well, trading out Taff was a good call.
Joe, this is the Queensland squad, mate?
Yeah, I mean, maybe a little bit hard done by. I thought he's been pretty solid for the Rabbits. He hasn't done anything wrong, he gets through his work. And
I think probably the thing with Arrow is I think a couple of years ago people thought he was going to start to be a dominant forward. And he just sort of turned into someone who just does his job every week. And I think that's hard for some people to swallow. So,
I mean, they've gone with a couple of those young powerhouse back rowers that, Cotter and Nanai, obviously. Capewell is obviously in a bit of form. So, I mean, he's not bad to have as an 18th man or whatever it is. I think he's there somewhere. But, yeah.
Cookie, mate, solid enough, 72. Cam Murray, 64. Obviously, both those lads will play Origin, so maybe an avoid over the next few weeks if you haven't got them. If you've got them, definitely a hold. I just don't know what to make of the Bunnies, mate. I didn't see that second half coming, mate. I really didn't see it. They've been so shit all year long. They've been really, really bad. And I'm not convinced it's turned just yet. But, yeah, we'll wait and see.
So they welcome back Muzz the weekend. They obviously missed the Troll for a fair bit of time now, and it doesn't solve everything, but you add someone like the Troll back in, it makes a pretty big difference. It doesn't matter what side it is. Tigers side of the park, nothing really to report, but Kingy just, I think, a double to Marmalade ended up putting him on top score equal with Laurie there, but again, probably hard to look at any of these Tigers guys because of the round 13 fixture. And then after that, who are the keepers in the side? I think Luciano's fallen off a bit. And you're sort of throwing a bit of caution to the wind after that. Maybe Joe O's been pretty solid, but again, he's a premium price, and we've talked about him before. So, yeah, I'm sort of missed the boat there.
Mate, Luciano's been really disappointed this year. I started with him. I think I had him for about the first 5 or 6 weeks and offloaded him. Scared that he might sort of bounce back and burn me, but he really hasn't.
I mean, he's not about if you got a feeling and you like it. If you got a feeling and you don't mind it, he's cheap, 460k, 69 break even. Obviously not this week, but sneaky pod. He's now down to 3%. So
no, it feels like the Tigers, mate. It just feels like they're. I speak about not owning Bulldogs players, not owning Dragons players. It feels like the Tigers have just gone to that level where you just don't want to own any of them based on their inconsistency and just how shit they can really be. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean,
it's hard to get a read on them as well. I mean, they knocked off, was it the Rabbits and someone else back-to-back Golden Point games a few weeks ago there, and then, I mean, read into that as you will with the Rabbits, but and then come out and lose to the Dragons. So it was Parramatta they beat the week before they beat the Rabbits. But yeah, anyway, funny old game for you. That one, the next one, King, you won't be too happy about, and that was the Chooks absolutely putting it all over your boys. Ultimately,
mate, look, the great thing about this game was that Teddy was just in everything, and 144 points, and I know we were down 20-0 at halftime, and we deserved to be, but the Roosters were that good. I don't think I've seen the Roosters play such a good half as they did against Cronulla in that first half. Cronulla weren't great, but they weren't, they were still, even in that first half, giving up 20 points, they were still a top 8 side. Like, the Roosters were just that good. But, mate, pretty hard to swallow as a Sharkies fan. Probably even a little bit harder to swallow was that I spooked on the show last week, and even after the show, talking on a few chats that I was bringing in McInnes, and I never did, and he's fucking...
Well, you were bringing in fucking Manu as well, weren't you?
A try.
Weren't you bringing in Manu as well?
Yeah, I changed. Basically, what happened was I changed because of Carraz.
Yeah, right.
And then when the Cheese got fucking starting 9 instead of Harry Grant, I went, mate, I had 600k in the bank this week. So I've been able to move a couple of cheapies this week, but yeah, I should have pulled the trigger on these guys last week. But anyway.
That's all right. Look, it was a good old show and go from from McInnes, it still looks like he's running with bloody concrete shoes on every time he runs the ball for me. And but like he's been good. Yeah, I mean some good scores from some of your Sharkies boys there. Talakai, Katoa, outside backs, Militano, all scoring 60 plus in a team that was well beaten. Hines had a relatively quiet night with 51, but again, I think the Roosters, it was one of the probably games of the season for them. They showed up, they aimed up. Teddy was electric. Obviously, Tupu was on fire. Crichton turned back the clock there a little bit. He's looking like a good pickup for this week, obviously, or anyone that already jumped on.
Mate, that was beast mode from Crichton last week. He was standing in every tackle. He had every opportunity to offload. Probably the only thing we didn't see from him was, remember when he used to run those sort of lines off Reynolds back at South, and then he ran them off Cooper, just like those really good lines, and he'd sort of make those tackle breaks and line breaks. We probably didn't see one of those, but everything else, mate, this guy, yeah, he's back. I think we sort of doubted him at the start of the season. Wasn't getting the minutes, wasn't getting the points. This will be the Crichton we see for the rest of the season. If you don't have him in this week, you've got to get him in.
It's almost a catch-22, isn't it, King? He's now hitting that form we all come to know and expect from him, and if he continues it, there's every chance he gets picked up in Origin. Even though they don't play the next bye round anyway, you just hope that if he does get picked, he stays out of trouble and doesn't get injured or anything like that. But yeah, he's looking like a cheap pickup keeper for the run home, I reckon. Old Angus at 550.
Yep, Joey Manu scoring 77. He's solid game there. Siwa Takiyaho, mate, signed with Catalan Dragons, so we'll see him depart the NRL at the end of this season. Congratulations to him. Cracking career in the NRL, and I guess a player that's always been on Supercoach minds, mate.
Yeah, again, always a bloke that's generally been pretty reliable. Supercoach, probably in the last few years, he's probably been better than ever. But yeah, he's playing some all right footy. Looks like he wants to sort of finish on a good note with him, which is good. He's adding a fair bit of punch in him. I reckon he was quite good against your blokes, to be honest. I know, he's not relevant Supercoach-wise anymore, especially without any of that goal-kicking stuff going on, but I think he's going to finish on a good note with him. Quick shout-out to a couple of blokes. Swaley obviously got the HIA King with a 20, didn't return, so that one stung a few people, and I had to actually place a Tilly, who managed to score 19, so that contributed to my garbage. That one really hurt, but he has been named to start this week, which hopefully will make up for it. But the other one I want to mention is Will Kennedy, bud. Back-to-back minus scores, so he's gone a -10 and -2. He's down to 4.
Did he? I thought he was on 1.
He's 417k and he's got 153 break even.
Wow.
If you're looking for a downgrade option for someone that's going to be immense value, disregard his last 2 scores of -10, -2. You're going to get an absolute bargain with Will Kennedy in 300k.
His break even's what this week?
153 and he's 417k.
Mate, with running minus scores, his break even if he hits 100 this week, his break even next week will still be minus fucking, it'll still be 90 or 100 and it'll drop more cash. So, mate, I thought he looked really good, right? I know he scored minus figures, whatever, and everything that Cronulla were over that sort of 4 or 5 week period where they look like world beaters was simply his combination with Nico. And, mate, it was what made Nico score 100 plus. Kennedy is just on the end of everything. And his speed in those block plays is better than anyone else in the comp. His speed and how he runs it, it's better than Turbo. It's better than Teddy. Now, purely just those block plays, right? Like nothing else.
That's like he's not there. The ball's about to fall on the ground and he just pops up and grabs it.
He is so fucking quick. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. No, I reckon he's a sneaky. I'm someone that doesn't have that core of my spine. I'm still mucking around with those 2 bench half spots, and with Nico there, I can move some stuff around. So he's honestly, I reckon he's a genuine option for people like myself that are trying to figure out some stuff in the spine there at the moment, and find someone that could make some cash and will play 17. So eyes on Will Kennedy for sure, King.
He's probably 2 or 3 rounds away, but yeah. Next game, folks. Yeah, look, I watched and enjoyed this game purely as a Luke Thompson owner. I think in the first 20 minutes he had two line breaks.
A couple of line breaks, didn't he?
A couple of line breaks, and he looked like wanting to get a meat pie, and he tried to run straight over the top of who's the fullback? Oh, Cody Ramsey. And Ramsey managed to tackle him. But made the first decent game he's had of the year, and he still only scored fucking 70 points. So
I did notice he had those line breaks. I thought he's been on for a ton here. I was surprised to finish. So that was what he was scoring last year.
Yeah,
base,
Mate, exactly. He's fallen off tackles. You know what I did notice though? He's got a lot of third man in tackles, right? He just jumps on when there's fucking at the end of a tackle. I reckon there's probably 10 to 15 of those every match that he's just not getting points for. So I don't know, just a lazy fucker. I can't wait to get him out of my side soon. But for now, he's playing 13. Fucking bulldog.
TPJ, a later mission from this one that also sticks me up this week, folks.
He's out this week.
On top of everything else, he was another bloke who was looking like a good premium player to have for 13, and that's all fallen to a shit heap. I'm an owner, King. I'm looking to trade him out to Lola. I'm not sure if I should keep him now. I'm just tinkering, still thinking about it, but I'll jump off him.
So you got Crichton?
No, I don't have Crichton.
You got Kicks?
Yeah, I got Kicks. Yeah, I was just looking at that front row, but I can switch someone up and go straight to Crichton as well. It is virtually a straight swap, but a few options there, but disappointing, obviously, for TPJ owners. I don't know if I see him as a keeper for that run home, for that 17. I mean, he might be a good 18th man or something like that to have for your bench, but this has just sort of pissed me off. I reckon I'm getting rid of him.
He's that kind of player, mate, on or off the field.
But back to this one, it was Duffy top scored for the Doggies. He's been having a rough trot, old Duffy, so good to see him bounce back a few try assists. And Big Lomax, he's hit a little bit of form, scored a try, set one up, kicked plenty of goals. Big 98 from the big centre. So I know a lot of people have been keen on him, and he's missed the Origin call-up as well. So he's looming as another really good option for 17 if things stay the way they are.
Yep.
And Maddie Burton as well. Talked to Big Ted when he was here. Obviously, he was on Maddie Burton a couple of weeks ago, low 400s, and he's produced a couple of good scores back-to-back there. Now, back-to-back 70s, and interesting to see what he throws up against his old club this week during the bye round.
Yeah, no, fair call. Obviously, celebrated winner of the glorious Liam Knight Award.
Your mate.
Yeah, but mate, he's played all right. I'll give it to him. Yeah, he's
coming a bit better. He's coming a bit better.
In a shit team.
He's coming a bit better, I think.
Maxi King, mate. Any Ming holders would have loved to have seen this guy. He was a chance to play 80, and then he got a head knock in the second half. So still managed to score 63. He's an absolute workhorse. He's got offloads. It's just the minutes, mate. He just can't be guaranteed minutes, and it's killing. I've started this bloke in my 17 every fucking week since the start of the year.
Have you?
It's killing me.
Yeah, I think he'll be everyone's. It'll be a bit bittersweet. He's done a bit of a job, mate. Considering how much he was to start, he's doing all right, and everyone will be probably pretty keen to trade him out after this week.
Yeah.
The other quick one with the Origin team list, obviously jumping on this one, it just shows old Foxy's missed his spot. I saw Freddie on the news today saying it was the hardest call he had to make, telling old Foxy he wasn't in the side. So shout out poor Foxy, mate. That's what happens when you go to the Dogs, brother. I hope it was worth the extra. Whatever you got was more than the Origin match payments, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. He's taking an extra $100,000 a year, but fucking Origin and sponsorships and whatever's worth more.
Scoring tries, anyway.
Next game, folks. And last game of the round, we saw the Eels get up over the Raiders, 28-20. Well done to Benny and his boys. No, is that who Benny follows?
Yeah.
This shit team.
Yeah, it was this one.
Dylan Brown. You know what I loved about Dylan Brown? It was about 5 minutes before half-time, he rolled his fucking ankle. And then he still scored to try and set one up or something.
It pisses me off, King. I've been his biggest fan for the last fucking 3 years, and he's done nothing. I've totally forgotten about him this year, and he's fucking absolutely killing it.
Mate, he could brick in your mouth. You'd lick your lips and ask for more. fuck.
It was me in the toilet cubicle that time, you know.
Oh.
But yeah, look, he looks unbelievable. It was a cracking game of footy. I actually went out to this one with a couple of mates. Sunday Arvo footy sounded like a great idea. 4 o'clock Sunday Arvo, about 6 o'clock. It was fucking minus, I don't know, fucking bite, and it was freezing out there at Canberra. But
no more work, mate. No more fucking work behind the scenes at the Bruce Stadium.
Nah, I haven't done that for a little while yet. Bloody. Yeah, so no, it was a cracking game of footy, a bit of a contest till the end. The Raiders are sort of giving a bit of curry there, but yeah, Parramatta, Dylan Brown was a difference. I know Simonson top scored there with 123, but yeah, Dylan Brown was the game breaker in that one. He was the man. Everything was centering around him, and he broke the game up, broke the game open a couple of times, and in particular late when Parramatta needed that try to sort of finish the Raiders off. So he looks amazing. As I said earlier, Munster and D Brown have got to be the top 2 5/8s for the run home. I know Cody Walker's probably got a claim there, and you guys like Drinky and maybe even someone like Schuster might be able to throw a claim for the run home. But Dill Brown and Munster look unbelievable this season, mate.
Drinkwater should not exist in people's fucking thoughts.
I'm looking at him this week, I'll tell you that much. But he's going to he'll help me get to someone. I think he's a 570k, 120 break even. He might take a bit of hit on money this week potentially, but they got a good draw, and I think to round 17 or so he could get me to someone.
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
And still score some right points.
Pass from was it a week or two ago from Taolangi, where he passed it out 1.5 meters over the fucking try line, Drinkwater to score.
Yeah,
mate, we saw in this game a fucking pass where Tommy Opicic, of all fucking players, mate, he's dropped more balls than anyone. And he caught it behind his back or something that fucking went on. And it just looked brilliant on the TV. So, yeah, shout out to Opicic. That's the only thing you'll fucking do all season, mate. But well done. Mate, Madison, he has been huge for me. I'm so dirty that he's playing Origin.
And that was one thing I knew. I was tossing up a few blokes going into this week. And Matto was one of them. And I thought, from a numbers perspective, of all the guys I was looking at, I had to go Matto because he was going to go up the most money and da-da-da-da. He's been picked in Origin, so thank fuck. Hopefully that stays like that and you miss him for round 17 because that's probably the only positive I can see as being a non-owner, mate. He's the Matto of old. He's back. He's just coming off the bench and just in everything, isn't he?
Now, mate, here's probably the most unpopular opinion that I'm going to give. And whether they want to say his name a new fucking way or not, but Junior Barlow or Paulo or fucking Barwell or whatever the fuck his name is, I do not think this guy belongs in the New South Wales team.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Who would you have up front?
Who would I have?
Yeah.
So,
instead of him.
Mate, I'm having Clem in there. I love Clem, mate. I'm a big fan of Clem and what he's done. And I just think Paulo looks like the meanest bloke ever, you know? Like, he looks like Manu Mao. He looks like he's just a mean bastard. But I just think he's not good enough. I don't know.
He's also, I think he's one of those blokes, he does step up a little, not step up, but he plays a little bit better sometimes at Origin time. Like, he can be it just takes 3 blokes to bloody stop his hit up. That's the thing, and he gets the arm away. I think maybe not starting. I'd like him off the bench. I don't think he's been in any form or anything like that by any means.
Well, that's what I mean. I don't think he's been better than anyone else who can qualify as a New South Wales front rower. Like, yeah. Anyway.
So, no, look, interesting. But, yeah, massive from Matto. IPAP strong again, even though he's playing a little bit in the middle now and even had a bit of a rest on the weekend. But, yeah, he was looking pretty good. Kingy, I think good effort from the Raiders, but, yeah, they're just, I don't know what they're missing. I think they look a little bit better with Savage at fullback. He looked quite good, even though he didn't score that well, but still a pretty young bloke. I think they looked a lot better with Fogarty, to be honest, King. I don't know if you saw this one, but I think Fogarty will make a massive difference to him in the long run. He just that genuine 7 out there, I think they really benefited from him being out there.
I think him and Jackie Boyle, like 3 or 4 games together, I think they're going to benefit from. So Obviously, this season they've started off pretty poorly, and it may not be this year, but, an off-season together after a season like this may be what they need, and maybe 2023 is where the Raiders can bounce back. So, yeah, I don't disagree, mate. I do like Fogarty. I like what he brings to the team and what he is as a player, and I think they can develop on that. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, that was the round 12. That was it.
So round 13, 4 games this week, mate. A little bit of viewing. We've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah, short turnaround.
I can't believe we're having a fucking Thursday night game when you only got 4 games for the week. It's just, I mean, hey, that's the broadcast rights, isn't it? But there you go.
Yeah, still got that one on the Thursday there, so it'll be the Titans taking on the Cowboys, mate.
Yep.
Obviously, none of the Origin players will be present in this one.
Tell me, hang on. The fact that they've been named in the squad, do they not come back? Hammer's been named, right? But Tommy...
so the blokes in the 17 obviously will miss, but yeah, those other guys in the extended bench, apart from is it the 18th man goes on with them, stays with them just in case there's any...
But that's not Tommy Dearden, is it?
I think it was Dearden, wasn't it? Was it Dearden? It was Tommy Dearden.
Right.
But I don't know if they can change who that 18th man is, or I'm not actually sure, to be honest with you. They've got the new rule as well, exactly how it'll work. But yeah, so I believe Joe Suwali, for instance, King. Joey Suwali is a good example.
Like Aaron Muller. Mate, I am struggling tonight. That little shot of the kill, I can feel the slur. I can feel the dribble fucking rolling down my face, mate. But anyway.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, King, exactly in terms of timing or how it all works. There'll be someone out there who would know. But for instance, Joey Suwali is someone that's not expected to play with the Blues. Obviously, he's been named in the squad, but he's expected to play this week. So it's just a matter of, I guess, what the coach wants to do if they haven't named him in the squad, or it just depends, I guess.
Yeah.
I have Bowie Famore, again, another bloke I've been murdering his name every time I say it, King. Apparently he's in a bit of doubt. There was a bit of rumours circulating about Bowie Famore. I thought he wasn't going to be there this afternoon, but I'll be keeping eyes on team list for this one just to make sure he does stay in the side.
Yeah, mate, a little bit of talk around him, I guess, aggravating a PCL injury. So in your, I'm pretty sure in your knee you got the ACL, MCL, and then the PCL. So PCL being the most minor of the three. Mate, whether it's something he can play through, I can't imagine they'd risk him, mate. Just, yeah. But...
So, yeah, eyes on as an owner there.
I hope he gets ruled out because I don't have the cunt.
Yeah, that would just be my... I think the only good thing, as I said earlier in one of those chats, that at least they played the first game of the round, so you'll know. Mate, I haven't looked at him for Supercoach, and I don't know what's been going on, but I thought on Mofo... probably a bit rough to maybe miss out as well. I know there's a couple other blokes in form and maybe he hasn't been as much in form, but I'm a big Mofo fan, and maybe the selection snub will be what he needs to sort of fire up a bit, but couldn't be bringing him in or anything like that. Just a bit of an observation.
His Supercoach scores this year have been pretty average, but mate, I'm the same as you. I thought he was Queensland's best last year, at least in the forward pack, and very surprised he didn't get picked again.
Is there anyone in particular looking at from either of these sides this week, King, you reckon?
No.
You got Lolo? Lolo's back?
Yeah, he'll be ruled out late.
I'm obviously looking at Scotty Drinkwater, a bit nervous. Obviously, we know Tommy Dearden, a few outs from that Cowboys side. It's potentially not going to be the side we're used to seeing. But I don't mind the matchup against the Titans, despite the fact he's got a big break even. And as I said,
do you know why Scotty Drinkwater won't work this week?
Because fucking my cousin's playing 5'8".
Your brother's paying the
That's my main issue with it this week as well. A bit of a concern. If it was anyone else but the Titans, maybe wouldn't look at it any further.
This is probably the biggest thing I'll point out. Like, once you sort of take out these other players, the connections just go with them. You know, like
Dearden's been unreal.
Has been huge. You know,
fantastic this season.
So I can't even go near Drinkwater.
It's a risky buy. It's a real risky buy, but you got to risk it for the biscuit.
This week, mate.
He might do, but it's not just a this week buy. It's for the next month. They got a pretty good month of footy in terms of their draw. So I was just sort of looking ahead a little bit, believe it or not. They play Titans, Dragons, Eagles, Brisbane, Cronulla. So maybe not amazing, but it's not too bad. Dragons, Eagles after this. And then they're in form as well. But yeah, a bit of a risky buy. Definitely not by any means a no-brainer. So buyer beware. I like Alexander Brimson. King, he's again hasn't been killed it this year. I think he's mid 400s or 460 or something like that. I was looking a little bit earlier, but still don't mind him as a bit of a sneaky if you're looking for something different. But I can't even recall what his break even was. It's just sort of random advice, but just thinking in these sides who you might be able to go that could produce a bit of a score this week. He'd be one of them.
Fair enough. Next game, Bugs. Friday night game. Once our producer gets in touch with himself.
Once the producer touches himself.
He does probably a lot.
Has he got it up yet or what?
He's got it up. He's touching himself. He's got it up.
Penny Dogs.
Yeah, mate, the Dogs pretty much at full strength because they're all too shit to make the fucking teams. So,
no TPJ again. Obviously, mate, RFM comes in the starting, so it's nice to see big Raymond back playing footy as well. Ming, as you said, playing pretty well last week and has been named to start a lot this week, so that's nice for owners. I touched on it.
I want to see 6 or 7 offloads from Maxi King this week. I need an 80 out of him. And I know everyone else is going to have him as well, so that doesn't really matter, but I just want to see.
Last little push for cash. Whether you're looking, like I said, people looking at Burton's and I don't know, who else could you be really looking at in that dog side if you don't already have them. On the penny side of the park, a few changes, obviously, with half their side being selected in Origin. Young Kurt Falls gets a debut, partnering Sean Sullivan in the halves there. Charlie Staines and Jennings is back, but Billy Kicks is there. He was one guy targeted for around 13. King, have you got him or you have Kicks?
No.
So you'll be hoping he goes shit.
Upside down.
Big Appy. Appy was named.
Yes.
What's he done? Not following.
Mate, Kicks. No, I can't have Kicks.
Probably one of his worst scores of the year on the weekend with his 36 as well. First shit score he's really had since I've owned him. But, mate, Appy's been named in that squad, I believe, wasn't he? He was in there. Might have to be careful.
Mate, I was scared. I was really scared.
Hope Cookie stays fit for the next week or so.
Oh, I thought my plan had sort of unravelled completely, having Appy in there. He's been good, mate. He's been really solid for me. I think he's had one score there in the 30s, but everything else has been really solid. And I think with these two sort of young, inexperienced halves, that he's going to run the show for dummy half.
Yeah, it should be he's going to be a good, pod or whatever for this round against the Dogs. A good matchup, and as I said, they sort of need him to lead, so I think you're looking good there. Otherwise, nothing major. Just a few interesting ones. I think every man his dog's got.
Quick welcome to the chat to David Bainbridge, new viewer. Lomax solid. Amona anything? Nah, mate. Fucking Dragons don't own him, mate. Nah, Lomax is solid, mate. We know he's good. And now that he's missed out on Origin, definite option for round 17 if you don't have him already, and probably a hold to the end of the season. We'll get to that shortly. Mate, yeah, look, the Panthers squad, Villy kick out, mate. I sort of tend to stay away from him. I know, obviously, Timmy Moody and the Villy Army has sort of, made their name off him and things like that. And we've seen the ceiling that he's got. But I think kick out needs the delivery. I think he needs the gun half inside him. And I'm just worried that timing will be out for this one and that he may not combine the best. I think O'Sullivan he'll be good with, but I'm pretty sure O'Sullivan will sort of dominate the right-hand side. And I think Falls, will just struggle with kick out.
Look, I didn't pick him up thinking he was a keeper. I wasn't sure. I sort of targeted him for this round. I think he was a premium, like decent playing player in this round that could blow up. Don't give anyone that could hurt you that you don't have. Maybe it's this bloke, but obviously, as you said, without the starting halves there, it makes a bit of a difference. Whether or not he's a keeper for the run home, I'll just sort of see whether you could go from him next week to someone else, or whether he might be an 18th or 19th man for the run home and matchup based.
Isn't Chris Smith the Melbourne Storm player?
Chris Smith, wasn't he the one at the Dogs? I thought he was at the Dogs. I don't know if he was at Melbourne prior to that, but I think he was at the Dogs previously.
Anyway, move on. Next game, folks.
I could be wrong. I don't know.
Saturday, 7:35 in the evening. We've got Manly Seagulls up against the Warriors. Manly have lost a couple of players, obviously, namely DCE at the half. Joshy Schuster comes in off the bench. This is probably one of my plans that did backfire a little bit. I was hoping Dylan Walker would get the 6 ahead of Schuster. Anyway, I'll take my 30 points off Dylan Walker like usual, and I'll fucking go with it. Mate, much to talk about.
Look, Schuster's an interesting one. King, he's tempted me now to think about him. It's hard. He just looks so unfit, and he obviously isn't getting the starting edge, but he's now tempting even just for this week. But it's so hard because he probably just goes back to the bench next week. I don't think Davey should be ahead of him, but might need a bit of fitness. Saab's back in there. I think he's pretty cheap, but buyer beware without Turbo in there. You wouldn't be looking at it. He was already fucking
7 points.
Yeah, look, Ola, an option. Apart from that, like I said, I think Schuster and every man his dog's probably got Cooler and or Tupeloto as well. But, yeah, I don't know. I think Ola, Schuster and Garrick are probably some of the main targets for this week, mate, from that Eagle side.
Yep.
Warriors side of the park, like we touched on earlier, you got Tohu starting on the edge, whether it's a late switch and he's back in the middle. Still hasn't looked like he's been killing it. You could pick him up. He's probably going to be safe for 50 to 70 in there somewhere and not lose you too much more cash, but you might be looking for a bit more of a ceiling score this week, and I don't think he's a must-have by any means this week. Don't mind Aitken. Might look at bringing him as well. Obviously, Valea's been dropped as well, the centre king, which pains anyone that's started the season with him or brought him in early, like me, thinking I'll keep him till 13. So him and TPJ, obviously, Valea was never going to be huge points, but he's been better the last couple of weeks, so a bit of a shame to see he's been dropped. But yeah, what do you do? Look, there was plenty of people jumping on SJ. I think he scored 40 last week and went up a little bit cash, but still, I think he's wearing the dinner suit. I don't know what's going on with him. He's just not really taking on the line or anything like that as much anymore. I think he's just, I don't know, he's just sort of done with that aspect of his game. It looks like a little bit to me. But yeah, apart from that, there's nothing major jumping out at me. I don't know if the numbers suggest otherwise, King, if there's another major guy you got to get in for break-evens or whatever, but nothing jumping out at me, bud. You?
Nah, there's not too much there in the Warriors team I want to look at, to be honest, mate. Final game of the week, Bugs. We've got the Roosters up against the Raiders down at Bruce Stadium, GRS Stadium. Mate, the Roosters, I can make arguments here that they look stronger. I know, look, Teddy's a great player, but we've seen how effective Manu can be at fullback. Normally this Roosters side, especially with the likes of Crichton, you probably expect to see a few more play Origin. And I think they're near enough to full strength, obviously, minus Teddy. So Billy Smith makes his return on the wing for Daniel Tupou. They probably lose a little bit there. But, mate, they look solid enough, the Roosters on paper. And I think without Jack sort of White, and I know they've sort of played well with Frawley there. But I reckon the Roosters really touch up the Raiders here.
Yeah, it's an interesting matchup. I think of all the matchups for the weekend, it'll be one of the, tougher games. I don't know if I see the Roosters running all over the Raiders, King. I don't know, but it's still, tempting to bring in those Roosters players just because you know what they're capable of. Obviously nice to see Satilli back in the starting side as well for my own personal benefit. But yeah, Billy Smith, I think there'll be a few people happy to see him back on the list for this week as well. Probably a lot of people didn't expect it either. Just like he'd maybe fallen out of favour a little bit or hadn't seen him for a while, and he's just bang popped up at the perfect time when you needed him if you still had him. So, as someone that owned him at one point and then fucking traded him, I'm filthy about that too.
Do you think Billy goes into the centres and Nguama goes to the wing?
Maybe. I mean, Billy was pretty shit at centre. I must admit, I was happy to trade him. He doesn't look like he's in the right place or anything like where he needs to be, but he'll probably jag a double this weekend because I've said that now. But I don't think he's. I don't know what position is. He looked terrible at centre, I reckon.
And mate, look, obviously we spoke a little bit earlier about last week. Swiley just scoring 20 points, had that HIA, didn't come back. I love what this kid looks like on the field. Like,
he's a beast.
His activity, his involvement, his finishing. Mate, I think this guy's a dead set superstar waiting. Like,
he runs so hard. Every time he hits the ball up, he hits it like he's running into a brick wall, you know. He's fleet footwork. I agree. He looks really good. There was a thing, I think there was a question in that Potties chat someone threw in the other week about if you were doing a startup team and you had to choose between Swiley or Cobbo, who would you go?
No. Mate, Swiley by the length of the fucking straight. Like, Cobbo, I like what Cobbo is and that, but Swiley's a special thing, mate. He is so much better. Yeah, I can understand the hype now. Why sort of everyone's been raving about this guy for a few years. It's there, mate. It just
he's only eight.
He needs to do his apprenticeship. He needs to bide his time. He needs to not get a big head. And in the next year or two, mate, this guy will be the best winger in the game.
How about his shot on kick out the other week? I know it was like a bit of a jam, blindside, but fuck me, I mean, he's 18 or something.
Yeah.
And a winger, like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, get off the Swiley fan wagon. But yeah, look, I think it'll be an interesting game. Obviously, no big pupper as well in the front will hurt the Raiders. I think he's been unreal the last few weeks as well. So it should be a good way to finish the round. But plenty of options in that Roosters side as Joey Manu. Angus Crichton, if he's not the most popular bought, I know he must be close this week, and even someone like Nat Butcher or something like that starting lock, but maybe the main ones.
Yep. No, fair enough. Yeah, not too much more to talk about other than that, mate. So, Bo, we got the results next.
You're upside down again.
Beautiful.
I make one stupid joke and it ruins my life.
All good.
There he is. He's back around the right way.
I'll tell you what, guys. Obviously, the group code's up there. We've got a few new viewers tonight. So, guys, by all means, jump in the group code. You'll see when you check out the overall, like, who's up the top. I'll be up there a lot of the way because I'm that fucking good.
What a fuckwit.
So, first up's Bogan's Cup, Finchy's Kids.
Oh, speaking of, look who's at the top.
Speak of the devil.
Finchy's Kids, followed by Barber's White Lines, the Easy Beats, Blade, the Humdinger Dolphins, Troy, and Polly's Pocket Rockets. Out the top 5 in the Bogan Cup. Onto the Royal Rumble, Haynes Sweaty Sack, 57th overall, so... Just a bit of a spoiler for
Maddie Buckman.
Shout out, Maddie.
Just a bit of a spoiler for the groups there. Bye, Chris. With Finchy's Kids. Finchy had a few more charges dropped on him during the week.
Oh, I haven't seen, really?
Yeah. So your name is still current. Tony's Tigers, Anthony with a 12.05, and I Feel Gould, Damon, with an 11.95.
A quick shout out to Maddie as well in 57th, buddy, and his him and
Triple SC podcast.
Yeah, the Triple SC podcast. Him and Blado started up.
So. In the chat. When do you go live? So Maddie's on Facebook and YouTube. I think it's every Wednesday night. I think he does about 6:30 on a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
So whether you've gotten home from work and you want to listen to something, or whether you're on the way home from work and chuck a pod on while you're on the way, definitely tune in to Matty and his nephew Blade.
And he's obviously knowing what he's talking about with the ranking 57th overall.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen on accident, so yeah, jump on and check him out.
The BJonGameDay League, the Invitational. Matthew with Major Pain with 1272. Finch's Kids again. Rapana Rama, ADOS with an 1146. Elite Throbbery, Brad with an 1142. And Climmy wrapping up the top 5 with an 1127. Which takes us to the group for the round. It was Craig with Swampies with a big 1372, sitting in 601st overall. Followed by Uric with a 1365. He's in 15,000, so he's down where I am. Tinks Torpies Guy with a 1315, sitting in 44th overall.
Dang.
Very nice.
Torpies.
He was even for the week with Bully Big Ballers, Kevin, and he's sitting in at 641. And Ryan with the Screaming Eagles with a 1315, which takes us to the overall.
Fuck, no wonder the show goes for an hour and a half.
Tinks Torpies sitting in 44th position overall, followed by Maddie, mentioned earlier, sitting in 57th overall.
Holy dooly, you're not even top 5 in the group, King.
O'Shea's Olays.
Here I am, bragging.
Super Couch Vaughan. He's sitting in 108th position. And Stratty Highland 34th with Josh King just out of the top 5 there.
There you
go. The draft.
Oh, did I win one?
No, you got absolutely fucking pumped.
Fuck. Oh, you beat me, mate. Fuck off.
So, Hampto's Hitman, he got up over Climmy. I absolutely whooped one Josh King. Benny, he's got up over Kando.
Hang on. I said to Hampton earlier in the week, we've got this, what is it, Ton Club or whatever it is, mate, $100 a year. And I've checked my team fucking 3 times this year. Even $100 comp, and I don't give a fuck.
Fucking hope.
No, that's why I dropped out of the cashy that I was in last year, because it's like, fuck, just throwing money away. Benny got up over Kando. The Shockmasters got a win over Shano.
Hey.
And Big Ted gave Hell's Grannies a flogging.
Hampton, that's like that FPL. 40-week season. After week 3, I got locked out of my account and I never checked it or changed it since.
Fucking.
So to the ladder,
you're a good guy.
It's
you're a good
Benny.
guy. I know you're always good for it.
It's Benny and Big Ted up top on 16 points, followed by myself on 15, followed by Shano on 14, followed by Kando on 14, with Josh King just on the outside looking to strike.
I'm very, very much ready to strike.
Fuck. I was second last 2 weeks ago.
Mate, it's still close. Still close.
Shockmaster. We haven't seen Shockmaster in years. Where the fuck's he gone?
I don't know. We put him. We had a late withdrawal. It was ADOS late withdrawal from the draft, and we brought in the Shockmaster, and he hasn't had a crack.
My stoners pick up the game, lads. Benny, I've seen some in the chat, mate. Fucking send us some. Actually, I've got plenty myself. Don't worry, mate.
What was that?
Nah, the BJonGameDay chat, mate. Fucking Benny and Ted were comparing their fucking medical marijuana fucking supplies. But anyway. These old fellas with their medical marijuana.
Man.
And that's it, mate. What do we got?
That's it.
Done?
That's it. So I don't have to do a separate vid this time, King. Cambosis versus Haney.
Oh, mate, very, very tough. Very tough. George Cambosis, Devin Haney. Obviously, we saw last week Javonte Davis, a huge knockout of Rolando. Mate,
So
look, I said it in the last fight that if Teofimo went in with much more of a level head, he would have destroyed George. And I think that's what will happen now. I think Devin Haney's definitely come down under to beat George, but he's come down here not expecting it or not overhyping himself. So, look, I think Haney will get the win, and I think he'll probably knock him out in around sort of round 8 or 9.
I think Haney is just too much class.
Yeah, and look, I think this is probably where we see it. Australian boxing is solid with where it is, and it's definitely getting better, more traction. I think what Kambosos has done and the promotion that he's done has been fantastic. George has done well. He's represented Australia, his country, obviously Greece, his homeland as well, in amazing fashion. So full credit to the guy, but I just think Haney's just going to have a little bit too much class.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of that will, I think only Haney can beat himself, and that's if he's already looking at a Gervonta fight before he's got past Kambosos.
I don't think he is. So I don't think he is. I think Haney's come down here with the right mental attitude, and yeah, I just
either way.
It's hard to say. You always want an Aussie to win, mate. I'll be cheering every second of the fight. I'll be cheering for George, mate. But
either way, it should be a cracker.
Yeah, correct.
Don't know who's on the undercard. It's boxing though, so it'll be a bunch of bunnies.
It'll be shit.
Anything else? Like, rate, subscribe.
Yeah, and all these new viewers tonight: Cassidy, Dave, fucking Damo. Jump on, subscribe for us, guys. We want to get to 600 by the end of the season. Feels like it's been 20 years, but Anyway, give us a subscribe, guys. Cheers. That's it. Catch you all next week.
Bang.
Hampton, get your camera fixed.